Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again now to the StarLadder I-League StarSeries Season 14 here. My name is Blue, hosting you for this evening, and joining me is going to be Hugo. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good. How are you, dude?
I'm pretty well off. We just had that first game, of course, that went pretty dominantly in the favor of Envy, if I do say so myself, but now we're about to jump into our next match here, which is going to be between ORGLESS and Kinguin. Kinguin, of course, sort of had some changes coming off across those guys for some of the recent weeks, and then also mainly with Scream leaving their roster. But ORGLESS, I don't know much about them, and I think both of us are kind of in the lapse as to what they're doing. So, do you know anything about these guys so much, or is it sort of for both of us like just an open book?
Yeah, I'm very similar to you. They're a new lineup, best of my knowledge. I haven't seen too much of them play, really, and I think it'll be very interesting to see them play against G2 right now. But, yeah, again, I'm not 100% sure on their playstyle or anything really about them in terms of that, but we are going into the knife round regardless anyway, as we see both teams line up on the yard.
And they're going to go right into this. They're going to play for this once again here now. And obviously on a map like Train, definitely something that you'd want to be winning the knife round on, with it being fairly CT-centric. And for ORGLESS too, when you look at a team like them going up against Kinguin, who of course, not having Scream on the roster anymore, so not as big of a reputation, but still very competent squad of players that have sort of grouped up recently and have been sort of floating amongst the midst there among some of the better European teams. So ORGLESS, of course, wanting to come out on top, but not going to happen. So more than likely, they're going to have to get their start off back over on T side, which is not going to be the most optimal situation for them, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, but one positive that they do have to work with is the fact that G2 do have a stand-in today. They've got RUBINO from Copenhagen Wolves covering for Fox, who isn't in. So, that could work in a little bit of the favour of ORGLESS. Strategies aren't going to be fully committed, as they would be if they had all 5 players on the roster, which is, a silver lining for ORGLESS, but we'll see if it really pays off and if it will have a huge amount of effect in the game. RUBINO, obviously, not a very bad player at all, and although he may not know the strategies that G2 have, he can definitely, perform in terms of aim, in that sense at least. And here we go into the pistol round as we do see ORGLESS buying up 4 armor and one nade buy, so that's a very default T-side buy on Train, I think, so far.
Smoke from DeadFox as well, going to get tossed into the outside yard there, just to throw some attention over to, and it's a pretty heavy stack here from Kinguin as well. A lot of their players focused on this one, so on the inside yard itself, going to be mainly over here. This player from Kinguin, Dennis, trying to hold things off. He picks up 1 kill over there onto the top armor as he tries to work his way into there, but more pushing forward. They still get that plant off. A nice nade goes deep, though, does so much damage. And it's going to be jkaem and Maikelele that just come in and clean things up with 2 more kills. DeadFox and Barcode still up and rolling for the time being, but RUBINO moves in, and Rain is also going to pick up an additional kill on a Barcode there as well. So the last player sort of stuck in a corner. They should easily be able to handle the defuse at this point, and I believe this pistol round will be going by the way of Kinguin, and indeed it shall.
Yeah, DeadFox not in a primal position there to kind of pick up any frags, and you could just see that Kinguin's retake was kind of flawless there. You saw Flash was actually pushed up quite aggressively, as you usually do, after getting the run down on B-side Train at least, and he was pushed up all the way to Connector, and they completely just shut him down with a nice shot there from, I think it was Rain, if I'm correct. But either way, easy round for Kinguin once again, and we'll be going into the second round, where I imagine ORGLESS are going to eco after getting that bomb plant. They're not going to want to spend too much money, be able to buy up third round, which is going to be good for them, and Kinguin are just going to go for a full heavy rifle buy, only 1 SMG, which is going to be on Dennis, knowing that he can mop up these easy kills, as ORGLESS won't be buying up armor.
And ORGLESS just going for a pretty default take as far as the outside yard is concerned. Players in T-Con, we're going to have 1 jumping down into the ladder room there too, trying to make his way in from that angle, but overall just expecting the decking to come in here now. Rain already with 1, finds a second, 2 minutes to squeak through the cracks, but they already noticed them here and they've got the call out, so yep, doesn't really go anywhere with that one, and Kinguin with a quick shutdown in the second round.
Yeah, very expected kind of round. If you push out into the A site with nothing but a couple of pistols, maybe some Glocks and PT-50s with no armor at all, as well as no smokes to hold off the angles, they're not really going to come out too well on that, especially not even a smoke to get the bomb down as well. But ORGLESS are going to be able to buy, and DeadFox buying armor on the second round means he's going to be limited to a Deagle now, so no AK for him, but we'll see how he makes it work. Pushing into A main here.
The farmer going to wait to see if he can catch anybody here too. Dennis sort of on the bottom of the ramp, potentially with the potential to move up to that area, but not going to be moving forward just as of yet. He sits back, plays it very passively for the time being, and oh, jkaem missing an opportunity there too to pick up one of these guys as DeadFox almost ends up peeking that, but unfortunately jkaem caught in a weapon swap, so not going to be able to find it. The resmoke comes out over there towards lower, however. Now for the rest of these guys, they're going to sit back, play it nice and cautiously for the time being, as ORGLESS with his big buy up here in the third round, definitely going to look to try and make as big of an impact as possible here, as they have forced it up to some degree, and are going to have to make sure that this take is flawless. Unfortunately for Kinguin, already having the extra player, which Maikelele in this site, not going to help, and also Rain kills the lurker, so they're not going to have that in play either.
Yeah, I think when that Rain's already got the information that this might be restacking onto B side, and it's going to be demonstrated. It's Dennis picks up a nice single kill, and Maikelele also getting one of his own as ORGLESS get kind of shut down on this B push. Only Barcode and Ney left alive, and Barcode HP not looking too good as Maikelele finds a frag onto him. Now it's just Ney, and he's not in a great position, especially with no nades to throw down onto the bomb. Post plant here, Maikelele is going to be forcing him out of position with that Molotov, and there we go, RUBINO coming out on top there, showing that although he may not have the strategy, he still has the aim to come on top of ORGLESS here, and G2 Kinguin are going to pick up their third round.
I think another key factor too is just the minimal investment from Kinguin. A lot of the guns they had in that round came out previously from the second round there too, and you can even see that by the scout on some of those players that were still left alive. So didn't really invest too heavily into this one, so they get out of that one. Obviously having to go for a little bit of an expenditure on those that need to rebuy, but for those that manage to survive, and we can see here too, 4 of the guns are donated or either picked up from the previous round with 3 AKs in play. So they make it out of that one nice and easily, and ORGLESS with the Force have to go into another Tech 9 armor round essentially.
Yeah, ORGLESS spending a little bit of money so they can get some armor and nades to work with, and they're going to be using them towards the A site at the moment, but still keeping some money in the bank so they will be able to buy up rifles once again, regardless of the outcome of this round. And you can see the push coming to commence, and Rain and jkaem also going to pick up first few frags. It's just going to be a complete shutdown though, once again from Kinguin, and RUBINO finishing off DeadFox there, so a very expected round there. You know, despite having all the smokes down, didn't manage to do really too much. I get a couple of kills onto G2, but ORGLESS are not going to take that round at all, and left at AKs now, so at least they have something to work with, but no AWP just yet.
Nope, and unfortunately, not really going to be seeing really a whole lot of a potent take to be had here either. The big problem when we look at their buy now is, you know, they've only got that one HE grenade. They've got flash someone to work with, but unless they've got a good smoke setup, it's going to be very hard to force their way into the site without any mollies or anything. So they're going to push right forward, and the smokes again aren't even really being used at this point. They're just trying to force their way into the site. That doesn't go very well. It ends up being actually no, they even traded out. They end up getting a 3-for-3 trade there, but now jkaem comes back in. He picks up a kill over there on the flash, and now Barcode still holds his own, catches that one player that tries to lurk around him there from connector, but caught off guard there by jkaem as he flanks him once again, picks up the final frag on a Barcode, and Kinguin come out on top with the final player left alive.
Yeah, Kinguin with a nice lead already though, 5-0, and ORGLESS are going to be able to buy it once again, despite not getting the bomb down, getting that $3,400 bonus for, well, losing this many rounds in a row. And I think they need to kind of try and reset Kinguin's money at least. They're going to start building up a bank, and at least that round they got 4 frags, so it managed to, you know, give some kind of dent into Kinguin's economy. You know, they're down to quite low money. Maikelele, the only one rocking, you know, almost $5,000. But if ORGLESS can just do a little bit of economical damage, reset Kinguin's win bonus and just turn it into a loss, and then pick up a few rounds off that could be good, force Kinguin into ecos. We know the CT side economy isn't really too great at times, and you know, the map like Train, ecos aren't as kind of dominant as they are on close range maps such as Inferno, so ORGLESS could definitely come out on top if they manage to force G2 into some kind of eco. But Rain here with some nice aggression on the top of Train does get a dink onto Farmer, and not managing to turn it off into a kill. It's just going to back and play a little more passive.
He spots DeadFox on the way back there too, so he knows there's a presence here. And again, the players from ORGLESS, at least for now, potentially try to line up away on their default take. Not a lot of play towards Ivy, so it's not going to be very dynamic. And then you've got jkaem just absolutely ripping these players apart. 2 from ladder room already going down due to his wrath. And now again, we can see too, the flashes are coming out from the T's. They know that Rain's sitting up. I think they know that Rain's up on top of this train. And there we go. DeadFox picks up the headshot to shut him down. But jkaem's still alive from within that ladder room. He's only going to find one more though before the farmer comes in, and that's going to be able to take him down. Now looking at 3 players left alive. Still a pretty good hold from these players, but unfortunately with them being injured, and again, no utility in order to make the rest of this take happen. DeadFox, the final player, is going to have to fall back and look for some other avenue to get himself into the site.
Yeah, but this doesn't look like a very doable situation with only 20 seconds left in the clock. RUBINO is going to finish them off there, and Kinguin up to their 6th round in a row. So ORGLESS really having nothing to say at the moment. A pause is going to be called in though. Apparently complaints of the server lagging coming out from Flash, so just going to wait for that to get fixed. I don't really know. Maybe they're getting some choke or something.
Yeah, I was about to say it would have to be like ping inconsistency or something, or just choke, as he said, because he looks fine at 38 ping, and it's like not moving. So I'd have to guess it's bad routing or something like that would be the primary problem if it's anything, because we wouldn't be able to see that obviously. But these players are from Hungary, so I don't know what the internet status is there, as I know that that's for the last game I was in, that was a pretty consistent problem, was all the different European ISPs would have routing problems to the servers. So
yeah, that could be an issue really. We don't really know, just got to speculate I guess. And Bash is going to call an unpause, so we're just waiting for Kinguin to unpause as well. And I can imagine they're going to be quite content with what they got at the moment, 6-0. They just want to keep playing. I don't think they're going to really complain too much about ping problems, and we are going to be coming into the 7th round here as the unpause is called. ORGLESS once again buying up though, very relentless at the moment, even though they are kind of lacking on money. They got 3 Galils here and not a lot of smokes either for a take. And they has got a Molotov as he goes towards the B site, but you know, not really looking good on kind of economy, whereas Kinguin is kind of be able to build up theirs quite efficiently. And Maikelele getting the first pick. DeadFox going down on main again as ORGLESS push onto the B site, and Barcode is going to manage to get the bomb down there. So at least they have that kind of advantage at the moment, but it is a 4v4 and it should be fairly easy for Kinguin to retake.
Yeah, Dennis took too big of an arc there on the way out, so he is going to end up falling, and this reduces their potency a little bit here. And we can see they're kind of stuck in the back a little more, but these nades are going to roll back in. That does a nice amount of damage, and here they go. They're going to start pushing, and they didn't catch that one player by Tanker, but I think Rain knows he's there, so he's going to come in, face checks that, shuts him down. DeFarm was able to find an additional kill, so it leaves it in a 2-on-2. There's also one just outside of the Bright Train there, and there we go. Rain's going to take him out, but they're not spotting him, and Rain actually kills him from up above there. And just with the left time left here, and apologies, we're going to see jkaem close it out. And G2 once again remain undefeated now, 7-0 against ORGLESS.
Yeah, so a really nice lead, and although ORGLESS did lose a round, finally they did get a bomb plant. We'll be able to buy up AKs this round, shouldn't have too much problem with that. Again, no AWP. Oh, well, no, sorry, it appears they do get an AWP. Farmer actually deciding not to buy armor, just sticking with his AK, and DeadFox going for the armored AK, so an armored AWP. So that's actually a very interesting idea. Farmer not having any armor with his AK could be a bit of a problem if he's going to go for some entry frags, but he's going to be playing passive towards Ivy at the moment, just wants to kind of pick up some flags on the flank, I can imagine.
Even towards Ivy, though, that's going to be a pretty hard angle from the push with that armor. He's going to have to rely pretty heavily on like a smoke or something, which he doesn't have. He's only got a molly to work with at this point, so I'm not sure if that was the best decision. But DeadFox as well picks up the opening kill there on the jkaem. And another thing too is, the op doesn't really need to like fully peek as much as the AK does, so it's like the op can sort of just pop out, take a shot, and then fall back into cover there. And it's going to be an easy kill for Flash to grab as Rain just caught completely out in the open. Doesn't even react to the first couple hits though in his direction. And he's going to get dropped down once again here as these players from ORGLESS finally find a way to get themselves in the outside yard with a man advantage to start this off too. And there's Flash with another one, shuts down RUBINO, and they're making some great progress here. Ney picking up an additional one, and now it's just Maikelele on the site. Tries to go for the no-scope, but can't find it, and Flash is going to shut it down. He picks up a 3K that round, and ORGLESS finally get themselves onto the board here.
Yeah, so that's good for them, but the only issue ORGLESS have got to worry about now is losing this round, because obviously they've been building up a nice economy from having $3,400 loss bonus, and now if they lose this one, they'll be back down to $1,400, so that could be a real problem for ORGLESS, and pretty much, GG the half, as you could say, I guess, because ORGLESS will have to continue to eco up until they built up that bank that they originally had, that they've been working with to buy these relentless full buys, and you can see jkaem just getting really close on the smoke, and Barcode is going to spot him out there, finding... not actually finding that frag, sorry, jkaem just getting on top. Ladder's there, getting in the way of his aim, but DeadFox is going to retort with a nice shot onto jkaem, and now they've equalised into a 3-on-3, but Maikelele, DeadFox could do some damage.
Flash is going to hold strong by the electrical box. He takes down Rain. We can see their two Maikelele. He's trying to sneak up. He finds one, but a great reaction from DeadFox. Shuts down Maikelele directly after that. And now it's just going to be Dennis left alive. Going up in a 1-on-2 situation. To be honest, not a whole lot to work with. There's plenty of guns nearby, and thankfully nobody else is going to be moving against him. So if he should choose, he can pop right out here, probably pick up a rifle or something like that. But for the time being, he's just going to have to sit in Z and wait for the actual play to come out from ORGLESS here, while they themselves are taking their sweet old time trying to figure out exactly where they want to make that push.
Yeah, but as you said, getting a weapon shouldn't be too out of the question here. It just depends if he hurry up some moves, because you can notice he doesn't actually have a kit on him, so he's going to need to speed up here. And we can see Farmer and DeadFox actually dropping down into Pop Dog. So either way, I don't think he's going to have much chance in getting a rifle here. But if they go for the plant on the middle side, on the middle of the train, he should be able to get a pick. And no, they're going to smoke off connection instead and just go for a safe plant here. But he's going to run through the smoke. Obviously, who wouldn't with the Mag 7? And they're going to spot him out. This could be an issue for Dennis, but he has got that range advantage. Does get that first shot onto Farmer, and now he's spotted out for DeadFox, so perfect position to play from him. DeadFox is going to be flashed out and just throw the Molotov onto the bomb, and with no kit, this could be a real issue for Dennis. He's not going to be able to defuse this, he's got to chase it, but perfect play from DeadFox means he's just going to back off and play passive, and this round should definitely go to ORGLESS. There's no way that Dennis will be able to clutch this.
And Dennis is going to pick up that AK, creep back in, hoping that DeadFox would recommit to it. But again, DeadFox actually plays that really smart, and will even catch him. Oh, almost is going to miss. Almost is going to get that opportunity to catch him on the way out, but a little bit late on the timing there. But still, as you said, perfect play from DeadFox there. That was also some really good play from Dennis. And I mean, had DeadFox had not chosen the very smart and passive path that he'd done, more than likely, I believe we might have actually seen Dennis come out on top there. But yeah, thankfully, he knows his limits. He had a pretty good idea too that he didn't have the kit, so he just tosses that molly, plays it to a long range battle, and ends up coming out on top.
Yeah, that Molotov was very key. Without that molly, that round would have gone completely differently. Because Dennis could have picked up that rifle, the AK, and just sat on the bomb and waited for him to peek. But nope, ORGLESS going to pick up that second round, which is just as we were saying was very important. It's good they can finally at least get themselves on the board in that sense, and they're going to be going straight towards the B side. Very questionable play here, but Flash is going to make it work somehow. Taking out Maikelele, Rain will be there to retort, but the Farmer also picking up one of his own, and Kinguin are stuck on an eco here. Dennis with the only rifle. The King going in. He's going to be spotted out, but no, he's going to come out on top there, taking 2 quick headshots and finally going to get traded without AWP. So RUBINO instead grabbing the rifle for Kingwin, and this is good eco already. They're down to a 2 versus 2, and it's definitely doable. Despite not having a kit, a lot of damage is going to be done from jkaem, and there we go. RUBINO actually finishing off the frag, leaving just Barcode to come in from the flank.
Barcode, though, thankfully has got the aim punch advantage against jkaem, so he is going to be able to eliminate him there, and now pressing back in. Still the problem, no kit here on these CTs, so he's looking for that kill. Barcode knows he's not going to have it, so he just sits back just outside, and he knows he's got it at this point, so he's going to move away, and again, that's going to be another round that goes by the way of ORGLESS, due to the players here from Kingwin not having a kit to work with.
The only positive the King can look at is really they got 4 kills on almost the full eco there with only 1 saving rifle, so I think they should definitely be happy with that, especially with the fact that they were mainly retake kills. You know, Rain was getting one as they pushed into the site, but the rest were kind of retake kills from Dennis at least, and you know, successfully, well, I'd say in that sense, and ORGLESS are going to be able to buy up once again. No AWP on DeadFox this time.
So they'll push forward once more here, and with a big economical advantage, ORGLESS are going to be feeling pretty good about themselves. Not secure just as of yet here, but getting themselves into a good position for T-side. And look at how forward the farmer has already gotten himself here. Gets flashed, but for some reason nobody from G2 spotted him. Nonetheless, G2 going to pick up the 2 opening frags at this point, almost losing 1, and DeadFox pick up the first kill, but now the farmer comes into play, picks up 2 additional kills for his team, looking for a third, gets shut down by jkaem, and now it's going to be him versus DeadFox, only with 4 HP to work with, trying to find that final kill, and he grabs the headshot on a DeadFox, shuts it down, and there's the 8th point now for Kingwin. G2, apologies. It's at least the old name.
Yeah, well, that was impressive from jkaem, to say the least. You know, I wasn't expecting him to take that, and unlucky to ORGLESS, they are going to be stuck in a bad economical situation. They will be able to buy if they choose to, but instead just going for the eco, just to be safe. You know, they haven't got many rounds to work with either, so this is really got to be a large mental toll on them, knowing that they're going to be put up to 9-3 and then going to finally be able to buy. So one smoke on DeadFox to maybe get the bomb down, and Barcode with a bit of armor and a deagle to pick out Ivy here, and he's going to get some tags off onto RUBINO. Not going to manage to finish anyone off. No 1Ds just yet, and RUBINO just playing this passive at the moment, has a smoke and the molly, so he can waste plenty of time here on Ivy.
And again, this is the first time we've really seen a lot of activity coming out from ORGLESS from Ivy. Unfortunately, it's happening on an eco round, so not expecting too much to go by. So there's RUBINO just, oh my god, it's raising down 1, 2, 3, and then jkaem cleans up the final 2. So, but still, again, that's been an avenue. I've noticed a lot of T-sided teams recently in North America and Europe not really playing towards that a whole lot. They're just kind of avoiding Ivy altogether. It's a pretty hard angle to push if the CTs have a good solid hold on that, but could be very useful if you can find the opening pick and take out its initial defender.
Yeah, definitely true, and DeadFox picking up the AWP once again, despite losing the previous round. Obviously, it wasn't eco, and they had plenty of money to work with now. So Kingwin not actually going for the... Oh, sorry, Gamers2. Now you've got me onto it. Gamers2 actually not going for the AWP instead, and Maikelele just going to sit with that M4 at the moment.
This is the first time I've actually casted them as G2, so that's why I'm still used to them. I did like 3 to 4 times I casted them when they were still Kingwin, so just still used to
it. Doesn't help. It doesn't help.
It's alright. We'll get used to it, I'm sure, by the end of this festive 3. But anyway, ORGLESS again now. Still got a good amount of guns in the op at this point, still in DeadFox, and obviously he's been doing some good work with this one. Definitely leading as one of the top fraggers at this point for ORGLESS, but they take it nice and slow to start things off. It's going to be Maikelele and Dennis on the inside yard. Might get the pressure coming in their direction, but this could also just be a lot of nades getting tossed into that inside yard, and then with the other line, the other 2 they have, they could pull it back over to ladder him, and that would put a lot of pressure on jkaem, who's going to have to hold that, as 3 players potentially could be just coming down that hole to try and rush him.
Yeah, DeadFox is just looking for some kind of opening here. It doesn't seem like Kingwin, Gamers2 are going to be playing around that. They're playing a very passive play.
jkaem's going to move in. They don't even see him at all. There's 1, there's 2. Looking for the 3rd. Thankfully, Ney gets the response, but the damage has already been done. Now they know where the bomb is, and if he spots his other 2, it should be a very obvious movement. They're already moving Maikelele back there to get himself into the outside yard too, so they see this coming from a mile away. They're trying to sneak onto the site, but they've got the advantage now, and Rain's dropped the bomb carrier, so this tank not going to go anywhere. RUBINO pushes through. He's going to shut down an additional player, and now it's just DeadFox in the 1-on-3.
And nope, not going to make anything of it, so Maikelele shuts him down there, showing he doesn't need an AWP, and instead it's actually going to pick one up, and Gamers2 now up to 10 rounds to 3, and they've got a really nice lead going on to the second half, as they finally play the second last round of the first half.
And at this point here too, Kingwin obviously having a very dominating stance in terms of their overall position now in this game. ORGLESS unfortunately haven't really been able to pick up too many rounds. We're definitely, more than likely, unless we see an amazing round from ORGLESS here, probably going to be looking at that 11th point being picked up. So, I mean, obviously it's a CT-sided map, so we probably expect to see a scoring like that, but once you get to the 11th point now for G2, it's definitely getting to a little bit of a ridiculous point where they've got just an absolutely ginormous advantage, and it doesn't even play into sort of the half sides that you're normally used to.
That was funny. I don't know if you actually caught that. Rubino just pushed all the way out Ivy, peeked into C-Spawn when they were setting up the smokes, and he went for some shots and only managed to do a little bit of damage onto Farmer. And from that, at least he got the information that ORGLESS was setting up smokes and could call for the rotate. You can see that's exactly what's happening. But the bomb actually is going to go down here. Flash actually faking it and pushing to connect instead of that M4. He's going to find that frag onto Dennis, and that's actually pretty impressive play from him. Rubino will shut him down, but Farmer and Barcode is still alive here, taking on the site. Really gets one, but he won't manage to find the second as Farmer comes out on top there, and ORGLESS actually winning an eco there. Not much armor even to work with, and somehow they managed to make that work. Surprising seeing Rubino got that early information they were going for an A take.
They had I'm pretty sure too, I sort of caught at the end of it, but I'm pretty sure, as you said, they had absolutely no armor to work that, so that was very impressive to begin with that they even got that, considering what had transpired previously. So big pickup there by ORGLESS, a big mistake from G2, but G2 now, obviously, on the 15th round, still with plenty of cash left in the bank, at least for some of their players. jkaem, unfortunately, still has to go with a dropped Mag 7, but that auto sniper comes into play, so they're gonna pick up one, it gets traded back out, and Barcode picks up two back over there through Ivy as they try to get aggressive. It's gonna be Rubino and one more player that try to push into that one. Doesn't really go so well, and that's going to be a great start now from ORGLESS as they even it out into a 3-on-3, and they get basically free control of the outside yard because of this.
Yeah, but Dennis has got the auto sniper. You know, that can be really brutal on retakes. You can just spray through smoke and left down to just Rain, though. He comes around the corner, does get one, and we'll find a dink onto Farmer, but nope, not managing to turn it into a kill. And ORGLESS are going to pick up the 5th round, or their 5th round, the last round of the first half, and we will be going into the second half shortly. But, you know, they didn't really do too badly, although they were looking very bad on the first, 7 or 8 rounds. They somehow managed to bring it back to 5 rounds, so I guess they can't really complain too much with that. What would you think?
No, I think they were doing a very good job. I mean, at least when you compare it to sort of the way the last set went there. ORGLESS, I mean, right from the get-go, I think a lot of it was just trying to figure out how you play against a team like G2, because there's a lot of things that you sort of just, you can't really just know from prior knowledge. You just have to get in there, get your hands dirty, essentially, and figure out how exactly to counter that out. So we saw that they weren't doing so bad. I mean, we could see they were getting plans pretty consistently before they actually finally managed to pick up a round on round number 8, and from that point forward, they make it in there, they get some close battles, but they win 3 in a row at that point. And then, of course, we see Kingdom strike it back a little bit, but they come back with that very good eco victory and the final one too. So they're not too bad at all at this point. And I think now jumping onto the better side, they especially if they can pick up this pistol, there's a pretty good chance that they might even be able to swing this comeback.
Oh, but this is fun. jkaem and both Maikelele setting up smokes actually from B upper into A, and the rest of the players with armor up in A main, so they'll be able to drop down to top off and then just take the A side from this. So that's exactly what Kingdom Games 2 are going to do. Rain actually getting the first frag. No retaliation coming in from ORGLESS, and we can see Farmer is going to pick up one of his own, but at the moment they do have complete control of the site. The rest of the players are pushed back interconnected from ORGLESS, and the bomb should be going down just about now. And you can see Barcode here. The only one even near the site is going to be playing from Ivy, and the smoke is just holding him off. So perfect play from Gamers 2. Sorry, managing to take the site with ease. Forcing back the players. And Rain getting that first kill was so key, and now there's only 2 players left on ORGLESS, and that's going to be Ney and Barcode, and both of them are low HP. Barcode will actually go down, leaving just Ney to fight Dennis here, but he's got too many players coming in on him, and that's going to be the round to G2 once again. 11-5 now, taking a very successful pistol round.
Yeah, some good shots coming out there from ORGLESS, but unfortunately the positioning from God, man, that's a rough one. The positioning there from G2 was just overall far, far superior to that of ORGLESS, and of course they just had the advantage. They got the plants so quickly, and the rotation that came out there from ORGLESS was just not quickly enough to counter out G2's very aggressive take of the outside yard. So they're going to go into this, they pick up the advantage again, and this should really solidify themselves too, because if they don't have trouble with any of these anti-ecos, then they're potentially going to be looking at 13-5.
Yeah, definitely true, and it seems like jkaem doesn't want them to pick up any ecos here, but just like picking up 2 easy frags, and there we go, Flash will find one with his C75, but instantly he's halfway down on his ammo, and that's not too good. 12 bullets left. He's going to run out of the smokes, but run out of pop dog, sorry. Rubino will shut him down there. So a fairly efficient eco, I guess. ORGLESS did obviously force by, so they had a little bit of a kit to work with, I guess, but 12-5 at the moment, and now they're going to have to full eco. So this should be when the P90 comes into shine for jkaem.
To see just how well you can use this again, as you mentioned before, ORGLESS now on pretty much a full save at this point. Not a whole lot they're going to be able to do, so this will be an easy 13th round unless an absolute miracle happens at this point. And King will have a very solid lead. I mean, think of that too here, just the fact that they're playing against the CTs now and how very delicate their economy is going to be. And yeah, this is a wipe, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kills like that. So, but the big problem is that now we go into this gun round, and this is potentially ORGLESS's last chance to really get themselves into this game. And utility-wise, they're going to be missing a lot here too. So if they don't pick up this round, that's 14 points for Kingwin, potentially an eco for ORGLESS. They're more than likely going to have to try and force it up there, and then we're going to be only one round overall away from Kingwin just closing out the map, whereas ORGLESS would still be 10 rounds away from just tying it up and taking it into OT, not even winning out the game.
Yeah, so obviously a very important round for ORGLESS here, and You know, they're not really rocking it on the economy at the moment. They have got 5 M4s, so no pharmacists on that, but absolutely no smokes to work with. 1 on there, and I think they've already used 1, and that's about it. So ORGLESS aren't going to be looking too good coming into this round, as G2 have a very nice and stable economy with a lot of equipment again to work with as well. All these nades, all these smokes, and Molotovs and 4 of the players is going to mean they can push to the site, and they can play perfect after plants. And here we go, Maikelele obviously showing they're getting the first pick with that AWP onto Ney, and now they got the B site fairly open. Only 1 player holding it, and that's just going to be a Flash here, just sitting here in the smoke. Really nice position though, comes through it, does find 1. The bomb is going to go down, but no, he's going to stop it. Picking up 2, and this Flash is just completely in the way. Rain, oh, that's so unlucky for him, but Rain will just come out on top there, and it's looking really, really good. For G2 until that flank came in, and now Dennis is going to pick up 1 onto Barcode, leaving just 2 players alive for ORGLESS. So it's anyone's fair game at the moment. And Farmer's going to come in and go, nope, this is our round. ORGLESS will just take it, and that was such a nice flank there. But wow, that round.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting things going on there. A little bit rough from Ney at the start, too, if he didn't manage to catch that one, of course, as we saw Maikelele just barely catching that shot. DeadFox couldn't find the little taps that he needed in order to finish him off, so he ends up going down. So a couple extra deaths that potentially could have been avoided on the ORGLESS side, but they do end up coming out on top, and this is going to be the good start. That was what they needed to avoid, is that could have been essentially the kicker round there, as we already discussed. That could have been GG, but now they prevent it, they hold it back, and now their economy can build itself up a little bit here, too. Very rough, so it's not going to be able to stack up that much, but at least that gives them a little bit more of a chance to extend it here. But now a 2-for-2 trade will start things off. DeadFox pops back out, catches 1 in between the train lanes, and there we go. They're catching kills left and right now, and they're going to close it out with flying colors there. Kingwood or G2 not even going to be able to find a way into this site to begin with, and no plan at all either.
Yeah, so ORGLESS getting that confidence build out now after that nice flank and 16-2 rounds in a row, so they can just work off that. They build up a nice economy. God's sake, G2 are going to have to eco now, obviously. A couple of pistols to work with. They've got 2 deagles, 1 on Rain and 1 on Dennis, so maybe they can pick some nice 1 leagues here as they go towards Ivy and main, but by and large I can imagine ORGLESS will take this round very, very flawlessly.
So Barcode again gonna try and make his way out, but DeadFox is gonna pick up the opening shot here now. Maikelele gonna, oh, this is gonna be awkward. Tried to squeak his way outside of the smoke, but Farmer was just looking right at him that entire time. And now potentially with another kill as well. And yep, he's gonna find it. jkaem goes down. Now the bomb is on the floor, and this push unfortunately not gonna go anywhere as the Farmer just cleans him up left and right, literally farming them.
Yeah, pretty much, and just sitting here very awkwardly. Can't imagine he's too happy about the outcome of this round, but I can't say he didn't expect it. I can imagine, and not even managing to pick up that bomb and back off towards the B site. They do have control of it completely. And picking up this 4th kill of the round is going to mean ORGLESS go for a flawless, as I said, anti-eco there.
So the comeback, for the time being, is very much so on here from ORGLESS. They definitely got a little bit more to work for. 5 rounds down against Kingwood at this point, but another gun round coming out here at the hands of Kingwood. No op, unfortunately, getting into the hands of Maikelele this time. That economy did reduce itself by quite a bit, so they're not really going to be able to afford that just as of yet. When he hasn't grown to that point, if he had gone for that, probably would have been just a glass cannon one. And obviously, again, with how strong ORGLESS is starting to look now on their CT side, that could potentially change up a little bit here. So we'll have to see now just how well this take is going to be, but it's the same story for ORGLESS too, as I mentioned. They don't have an op yet either here, as they haven't built up their economy to that point, so both teams just working against 5 rifles.
Yeah, Maikelele sneaking out onto the site here through the smoke. He does catch Ney's rifle, but he's not going to manage to see his body yet for to go for the shot, and just missing Farmer there, but Ney is actually going to come out on top there, surprisingly, getting that headshot onto him, and now the advantage is on ORGLESS side, especially with the HP. Rain is down to 11 after getting tagged quite early, and it seems like G2 needs to try and find some kind of entry here. They're playing very passive angles if you look at them, just waiting for CT aggression, and ORGLESS are definitely not going to get aggressive in this kind of situation with the advantage.
We can see now too, man. G2.
It's fine.
I'm going to have to cross it out, dude. If I only wish I could draw without the map being up. G2 being ahead at this point now. It sucks because like the Kingwood part of it is like so much longer than the G2 parts. Your mind just like goes to the longer part and is like, yeah, that's the team name. No, it's not the damn team name. So they take their time with this, but definitely going to solidify themselves onto an inside yard take now as they move in. And as they push themselves down, this is going to be pretty predictable. So Flash goes for that spray. Already some nice damage being done, but RUBINO is actually able to respond to that and takes down the Farmer. And on the way in here, there's Ney picking up 1. Dennis gets the response, but DeadFox as well, as DeadFox again pushes in, catching 2 more kills. And now it's just Rain with 3 HP. No way he's going to be able to hold this. There's Flash, finds the final kill, and ORGLESS once again come out on top, bringing it up to 13-9.
Bomb has been defused.
But ORGLESS actually competing quite well so far. Haven't lost a round in, is that 4 or 5 rounds? 4 rounds in a row now, so that's impressive at least. And they have obviously got the CT advantage, and G2 having RUBINO in play isn't going to be too helpful on the T side when it comes to strategy, as we mentioned earlier. But at the moment, ORGLESS are building up a nice bank. They've got one player on 8k, one player on 5k, a couple on 4k. You know, they're not looking too bad at the moment. And G2 on the other hand are on, you know, they're buying round to round at the moment. They're not managing to get anything out of this. They did get a bump plan last round at least, so that stopped them from being pushed into either a Glil buy or some kind of eco. But at the moment, ORGLESS are looking like they could definitely make this into a considerable comeback. And DeadFox's position, this should be great.
Farmer 2 is pushed super far forward, so these guys are really going to get in their face at this point, try to work against them. And Kingwin, oh my god, G2 might just be walking into a trap now at this point. DeadFox waiting to see. Nope, there we go. Actually, jkaem's going to find the opener. So let's push 4 players. And oh no, it just goes so bad so quickly. G2 opened it up beautifully now, and they're going to find the openers. This Molly's going to go down. That's going to stop them. But the rest of the team is coming out now from ladder room. They can't find any response at this point, and they're finding 2 kills. Nay at least grabbed 1 there for ORGLESS, but that's it. And it's just down to Barcode at this point. He's over here in the train lanes. They haven't spotted him just yet. He's got a good flanking lineup potentially coming in here if they aren't going to be able to catch him. But at the same time, when he executes, this has to be so fast. There's the first one. Going to be able to find Dennis out in the open, but now he's been revealed. They know where he is, and all attention is going to be drawn over to him. Finds a second one, but Rain's in there to cover, and finally shuts it down before he gets any further.
So they finally turn it around, get up to 14 rounds, that's G2, and ORGLESS are going to have enough money to buy. They shouldn't be able to, shouldn't have to eco at least for a considerable amount of time, but knowing the CT economy, you know, just a couple of rounds in a row will kind of shut down their money for the time being. And you can see it's already not being too great. With 1 player on 10k, they're still having to buy up a FAMAS on Nay there, and G2 sticking RUBINO just with his Tech 9 instead of a rifle, not being able to afford too much. I would suggest a UMP, that'd be a lot more fun, I think, but Tech 9, it's basically an AWP, but way more faster, I guess. You know, not a bad gun, especially on RUBINO's hands. We've seen him play with it before, and seems like G2 are just waiting for more CT aggression. And Rain actually entering the B site here, flashes in, it's holding it, but no, he's going to go down. A nice shot from Rain. He is going to take a dink to the face and be down to 1 HP after dropping off the top. That was so close, but now they have control of the B site, and ORGLESS actually stacking 4 players towards A. It wasn't a very viable strategy, as the Molotovs do hold them back in connector. This should be a very hard retake here, even if they do have the kind of kit advantage. And Rain just showing that, getting one more frag off the farmer here in connector as jkaem shuts down Barcode, leaving just the last 2 players on ORGLESS. They're going to have to save here. There's nothing they can do.
If Barcode would have been really the only player that would have been able to do anything, but jkaem was able to catch on to that nice and easily. Goes around back to where CT spawned at and is able to catch him out. So no progress is going to be made there. And as you said, these last 2 just no way to get into that site. Just putting 1 player on the yard and taking the big risk on for the 4 stack on the outside yard. I mean, granted, there hadn't been a lot of play coming out there from the players on G2 to move into the outside yard quite a bit, but can't really rely on that one, especially with how slow that rotation came in there too. That 1 player that was in the inside yard would reacted far too slowly to it and got the call out. So ORGLESS just were not quick enough on that rotation, and we just saw them get quick control far too quickly for ORGLESS to do anything about it once the control had been made.
And did you just get that GoTV lag, or was that just me?
No, we got it. That's a.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah,
that's a thing that means something is gonna happen, but I won't say it.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you mean. But of course, RUBINO just picking up those 2 frags, stopping ORGLESS from saving. And now there's just 3 players left on ORGLESS, and this should look like the GG round. They are coming from the front, so they've got good positioning. But Maikelele is going to shut down one. They're going to get traded out very fast, and even just Nay and Flash alone. Bit of damage done. They will actually find that frag kill, even just Rain alone in this 1 versus 2, but at least he has got the kit's advantage, and he should be able to get the bomb down here very easily, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go for the stick the plant, and he's got plenty of nades to work with as well for this after plant.
And Flash is going to try to go for a flanking maneuver against him, but they're giving him a lot of time here, as you can see. Just all this freedom being given to Rain at this point as he's allowed to reposition himself, go wherever the heck he wants to, essentially, and now he's going to put himself behind the sort of the alley over here for the bomb lanes. Way in the back now, and it's planted for him as well, so he doesn't really have to move away from this. It's going to be very hard to contest him. There's going to be a smoke that comes out, and he spots for it. Bloom's down to 1 HP at this point, working against Nay. And Nay's got a rifle now, too, but he's going to jump up. Should have been able to see him, and Nay's going to miss that opportunity. The bombs get down so low, too, and he's going for that defuse. Is he going to be able to grab it? He's up on top, and he gets the headshot. Rain clutches it with 1 HP, and the timer gets a little bit too low, so Gamers 2 are going to end up coming out on top at the end. The final score of map number 1 is going to be 16-9.
Wow, that was impressive clutch there. I really didn't expect Rain to get that, you know, a 1 HP and having to pull out that Glock last minute. But somehow G2, not Kingwin, G2 are going to take the first map, 16-9. And the second map, if I'm correct, it should be on, drumroll please, Inferno. So that will be I'm correct. Gamers 2's map pick. So the first map was actually picked by ORGLESS, which isn't looking too good for them considering they lost it. But and if we have to go to
there's some good things building upon ORGLESS though, so I wouldn't count them out just yet. I mean, obviously Inferno, if we're going to that map next, is gonna be a pretty volatile map, as can be often for teams working against more experienced ones like Gamers 2, but I wouldn't say, based on what we saw here on Train, I mean, to be honest, is just as volatile, but I think we saw some good things here, so if they can perfect upon that and work on some of the issues in this first game, I think we may potentially be able to see a 1-1 as we head to map number 2.
Yeah, definitely. And what is it with Rain in this 1 versus X cast clutches on Train, you know, with 1 HP? He's done that twice now, if I'm correct.
I don't know, man. I don't have it.
Originally against VP, he did a 1 versus 4 with 1 HP on Train for the 15-14 tie, bringing it to overtime. Now he's done it again. So, you know, Rain obviously loves Train. You know, you can see his score 29-17 for that map. So, very impressive score. And I think the players were asking to switch server midway through the game. So, I can imagine that's going to come underway because of ping issues. And apparently, Germany's internet isn't too good at the moment because the server's hosted in Germany. But not sure on the confirmation of that just yet.
Yep, so while we wait for that, guys, we are going to go to a short break here really quickly, run the ads real fast, pay the bills, you know the deal. And as soon as the next map is ready to rock and roll, folks, we'll be right back. It might be a little bit longer for the reasons that we just mentioned with the server change, but we should be back ASAP with the next game here in this set. Gamers 2 currently leads against ORGLESS 1-0. And also, by the way, if you did miss our earlier set between EnVy Dignitas, the score's on the screen now. It was 2 to EnVy, 0 to Dignitas. Sorry for the spoilers. But we'll be right back, guys, with the next map coming up here in just a few minutes. Stick around for the StarLadder I League StarSeries Season 14.